Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to completely transform the way you look at trading. We are taking some incredibly powerful expert insights and distilling them down to show you exactly how to take your trading experience from a highly stressful, emotional gamble and turn it into a calm, disciplined, process-driven system. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed just looking at the charts, you are in the exact right place. So let's dive right in by addressing a feeling we all know way too well. Why does clicking buy or sell feel so downright terrifying? I mean, your analysis is spot on, your strategy is flawless, everything is perfectly lined up, but right as your finger hovers over that button, your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and this loud voice in your head screams, "What if I'm wrong? What if the market reverses the exact second I enter?" This familiar, paralyzing internal war between logic and fear is, without a doubt, a trader's absolute biggest enemy. To conquer this psychological hurdle, our analysis today maps out a highly tactical playbook. First, we'll uncover the biology of trading stress. Second, we'll build a mental shield. Third, we'll equip you with a mental toolbox. And finally, we'll outline escape routes for some very common psychological traps. All right, let's jump straight into part one, the biology of trading stress. Before we can even think about fixing the problem, we really need to understand where it comes from. You have to realize that the extreme stress you feel while trading isn't a personal failure. Not at all. You see, our brains evolved over thousands of years to protect us from sudden physical dangers, like, say, a tiger attack. That triggers a life-saving fight or flight adrenaline rush. But here's the catch. The modern human brain actually cannot tell the difference between the physical threat of a wild animal and the financial threat of losing money. When you see a sudden drop in a chart going against your position, your brain triggers the exact same biological panic signal. It literally thinks you're under physical attack. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman actually put a name to this biological quirk. He called it loss aversion. It's a cognitive bias where the psychological pain of losing money is significantly more intense than the pleasure of making that exact same amount. This perfectly explains why our own evolutionary programming actively works against us when we sit down to trade financial markets. And the crucial multiplier here, it's 2. The biological pain of losing $100 is scientifically proven to feel twice as powerful as the joy of making $100. Just think about that. This biological imbalance is the root cause of so many disastrous trading decisions. It's exactly why we close winning trades way too early, because we're terrified of losing that tiny little gain. And it's why we let losing trades run, just hoping they turn around, simply because accepting the loss hurts way too much. Okay, moving right along to part 2, building a mental shield. Now that we know our brain is biologically hardwired to panic, we can actively work to eliminate the deep uncertainty that causes this biological stress in the first place. The absolute first step in building that mental shield is this fundamental law of survival, the 1 to 2% risk rule. This simply means you strictly limit your exposure so you literally never risk more than 1 to 2% of your total account capital on any single trade. If you have a $1,000 account, 1% is $10. That means your stop loss must be set so that the absolute maximum you can lose is $10, period. Which leads us directly to the golden question you should always ask yourself. If I hit my stop loss, how much do I actually lose? By constantly asking yourself this and making sure that answer is always under 1 or 2%, you completely remove the fear of financial ruin. I mean, really think about it. A $10 loss is not going to bankrupt you. Even 20 consecutive losses wouldn't wipe you out. By following this rule, you essentially pour water on the fire of your stress, turning trading from a terrifying gamble into a calm, calculated, mathematical game of probabilities. The second part of your mental shield is your pre-market trading plan checklist. This needs to function as your personal constitution. Before the market even opens, you need to write down your exact entry conditions, your predefined stop loss, where your precise take-profit zones are, and your calculated position size based on that 1% rule we just talked about. Having this checklist shifts you from being a stressed-out, emotional decision-maker caught up in the heat of the moment into a highly disciplined executor of a solid plan. You're not guessing anymore, you're just checking off the boxes. Which brings us to part 3, the mental toolbox. With our defensive shield firmly in place, protecting our hard-earned capital, we can now actively strengthen our psychological resilience. We're going to use a few specific, highly effective tools. First up is a 5-minute mental reset called box breathing. And hey, this isn't just some passing wellness trend. This is a proven method used by special forces to instantly calm their nervous system during high-pressure combat situations. It's super simple. You inhale for 4 seconds,
hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and pause for 4 seconds. Repeating this cycle just 5 times acts like a hard reset for your brain, pulling you right out of that fight or flight panic state before you execute a crucial trade. Tool number 2 is psychological journaling. Now, look, everyone talks about keeping a trading journal to track profits and losses, but this goes so much deeper. You need to actively document your emotional state. By answering 3 specific prompts, how you felt before, during, and after the trade, you can easily identify toxic mental patterns. For example, you might realize that, hey, after 2 winning trades, I always get a little too greedy and mess up the third one. Once you actually track these emotions, you have the power to fix them.
Tool number 3 requires a major paradigm shift. You absolutely must move your focus away from toxic result goals, like saying to yourself, I must make $200 today. Honestly, you have zero control over what the market does on any given day, so setting arbitrary daily financial targets is just setting yourself up for immense stress. Instead, you've got to switch to healthy process goals, like saying, I will perfectly execute my trading plan for the next 5 trades. Process goals are entirely within your own disciplined control. If you master the process, the results will naturally follow.
Finally, let's cover part 4, escaping common psychological traps.
Let's be real. Even with the absolute best preparation, the market is incredibly deceptive and it's going to try to lure you into psychological pitfalls. So let's examine the 3 deadliest traps and their specific escape routes. First up, revenge trading. You take a loss, you get angry, and you immediately jump right back in with double the size to win it back. The escape rule? The 2-loss shutoff rule. If you take 2 consecutive losses, you shut down your computer for the day. Period. No exceptions. Next is FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see a chart rocketing straight up and you buy at the very top out of pure panic, only for it to instantly reverse. The escape here is repeating this simple mantra: there is always another opportunity. The market is an endless ocean, just wait for your specific setup. And finally, click paralysis. Your setup is totally perfect, but fear just freezes your hand on the mouse. The escape rule is the demo account execution challenge. Go right back to paper trading, execute 100 perfect setups without risking a dime of real money, and build up that muscle memory required to cure your hesitation. The most crucial takeaway from everything we've covered today is this: you no longer fight the market, you dance with it in peace. By understanding the biological realities of stress, utilizing your mental shield of strict risk management, and actively employing your mental toolbox, you completely transition your identity. You literally stop being a stressed, reactive gambler and you become a professional risk manager operating in total harmony with the market's movements. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to reflect honestly on your own personal trading journey. What is your absolute biggest hurdle right now? Is it the fear of losing or is it the greed of missing out? Pinpoint the exact emotion you need to conquer first. Identifying that primary hurdle is your very first actionable step toward achieving consistent, completely stress-free profitability. Take these tools, apply them to your daily process, and start mastering your mind today.